see if that works. Let's hope so. Oh no. Let's see if we can. There we go. Oh, it appears to be fighting with me this morning, Ju. And I don't quite know why. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What a miracle. I'm not sure that I can actually manage the room, but I'm going to try.
Just can't see you.
No, I can't actually go onto the room or bring anybody up. I don't know about you. It's flicking backwards. But at least we are here. Hopefully you can hear me. It's not going to be easy, I don't think, because I think there's a bit of a glitch. But we can hear each other, which is great. Well, I never did. Clubhouse is always throwing. Is it just flashing? Is it flashing up for you, Ju? Can you?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah, I'm going to leave and come back. I won't be a minute. I'm going to see if I can leave and come back. As you are a moderator, you can. I believe.
I'm on stage, honey, and I can see both of you and hear you fine.
Great. I need to
maybe if everyone in the audience could just put a thumbs up if they can hear and see anything.
That's great. Is everybody there? So I may need for you to manage the room then, because I can't actually see it. I can see the room, but I can't be on the room, if that makes sense. Can we hear me?
Yeah. Make me a mod and I'll do the background work.
Can you make Maria mod you? Just click on her. Because I can't at the moment, because I can't stay on her long enough. Can you manage that, Ju? Let's see if I can leave. I may just restart my phone. I'm just going to restart my phone, guys. I'll be back. Well, good morning. It's 2 minutes past 6 and we are live. I'm Mandy-Jayne Lace and we're live on social media. And this is what social media is live, of course. It is live and it is real. It's authentic and it is the way it is. And I'm all right with that, particularly today. Today, we're going to be talking in a minute about pushing through by being you. And I've been reading this book recently, Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. And I'm going to be deep diving into a little bit of what I've been learning once I can get into the clubhouse room that I created earlier. So I'm Mandy-Jayne and I am very grateful that you are here today, whoever you are, wherever you are. And if you are here on social media, it's not in MJ's house, clubhouse, then well, you've made it here and it's better than I've done. Let's see. I think I can go to my own house. No, apparently not. I'm going to take my mic off and say I'm here again. Can you hear me? And did you manage to make Marie a moderator, Ju?
I can hear you. Not mod yet, lovely.
No, okay. So I'm gonna leave it at that right now, and I'm sure that in the background, Ju is going to be able to click on Marie's face and help moderate. But either way, we are live on social media. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live on X, and we are also, I think I've said Instagram, on StreamYard. So, and we're on Clubhouse. I think that's pretty fantabulous, considering a year ago I had no idea how to go live anywhere, doing anything anywhere. So there we are. So this morning as I think I've already mentioned on the other social media platforms, we're going to be talking about my narrative, my evolving narrative, and what I hope my showing up is evidencing for you, because it's certainly evidencing for me. We're just starting to work with somebody called Jan Santos, and to do that, I've had to share some things with him. He's a social media guru, and I'm sure that you all know him too. I think I think I am live anyway. If I'm not live on Facebook, let me know. It's on StreamYard, so it's going to be recorded. That's okay. I've just got a notice saying, go live on Facebook, but I thought I already was. So yeah, we're going to be working with Jan Santos. And to do that, I've had to send him some access to things, which meant that I had a look on my StreamYard this morning, and there's 46.5 hours of content, what they call content creation now. I like to think of it really as really my own journaling. So I'm hoping that by showing up here, I can showcase what it is that we're talking about this morning, which is all about vulnerability, or as the title of the room, pushing through by being you. And I was thinking about this because it's January, isn't it? And happy 2024. I forgot that. We've had 8 days of this year already, and so much has happened. It's just outstanding. So happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy new MJ's house in 2024. Who can believe that we have been on Clubhouse 3 years? I look back at some of the videos and photos and think, wow, what a difference a year or two makes. So I want to talk today about my evolving narrative, which is that I believe that showing up and being me allows me to push through with resilience, with the vulnerability that we had when I turned up this morning and couldn't get in my own room, and including the really big elephant in the room, me, disability inclusion. I think that my work is showcasing that we can do it if only we stay true to ourselves. In fact, Brené Brown says that staying vulnerable is a risk that we have to take if we want to experience connection. And that vulnerability is actually the cornerstone of our authentic resilience. Authentic resilience. That's pushing through, but pushing through in a way that's real, not pretending that it's all going to be okay when actually it's not. And I've not really thought about whether it is and what I need to do to make sure it is. So it needs to be more than an initiative, more than an idea, more than even a plan. It needs to be a plan that's actionable, or what another theorist calls, who's actually the director of the British Association of Social Workers, who they call actionable steps or practicable steps. So what practicable steps have I made to ensure that when I show up authentically, that actually I'm able to also bring to bear the evidence that these are actionable steps, or this is a situation where I can draw strength from the fact that I've put the work in, right? Put the work in. Because as I started reading the Dare to Lead book, and I'm gonna actually bring it up, which is Brené Brown, somebody who I talk about quite prolifically. The first part is she talks about rumbling with vulnerability, about turning up to her morning meetings. And she said, the first time that I had a team, I created a morning meeting and I was like, oh, we're going to all get together for an hour. And oh dear, I haven't actually got an agenda. And she turned up at the meeting and went, I don't really know what I'm doing. And really, we haven't got a plan. And she feels that it was by rumbling with that vulnerability, by just admitting that she'd created this plan, but she wasn't really used to it. And it wasn't really something she did. And she wasn't really sure how to do it. For me, that is inclusivity in action. It's showing up to my team and saying, right, we've done all of this stuff. really well so far. Now we've got this that we're tackling, and we've got to work out how we make this inclusive for all of us, including all of our clients and ourselves. I think that, and so does Brenny, takes us in that moment from a place of vulnerability, I don't know what I'm doing, to unexpected strength. Actually, here we have a team approach, and this is what we've got in this room, a team approach to adapting to those challenges. And we all have challenges here, particularly those of us who experience disability. Now, I think that my story, when I think about who am I to talk about what this book is daring to lead? Who am I to talk about how it is to lead? Who am I to talk about knowing about how to lead? Who am I to even think about how do I explain that, and why do I explain that? Well, actually, I'm still just working out where my courage is, and I'm working out how I maintain becoming me, being me, and pushing forward by remaining vulnerable and remaining able to learn, because I don't want to put myself in that position of expert. You know, they say an expert is a drip under pressure, and I'm not planning on being a drip under pressure all of my life. You know, my journey has been one of severe illness and recovery, and that is definitely my testament to resilience. And it has deepened my commitment to not only understanding mine and other people's disability, but how we create and innovate for inclusion and that accessibility. Because when it isn't accessible, and most of the pathways that I look for aren't, there's no point in me just sitting or standing by, metaphorically. I have to innovate, I have to change, and I have to adapt, and I have to build. It's the only way. I was sitting the other day thinking, for those that don't know, I've just got a Lomeo. That's a personal hands-free mobility device called an Omeo on loan. Mine has been paid for actually by Access to Work, and it's what I do for a living. It's been paid for in the main by Access to Work, and I'm now waiting for adaptability to build it. In fact, my Lomeo, my Omeo, not my Lomeo, my Omeo, my machine in parts is in the Red Sea. So this story of vulnerability is here. I ordered an Omeo last April. In fact, last April I was looking at the video of me trialing the Omeo, going to after work, after placement. Actually, I'm just going into my second placement. So this time last year, I decided, as I went into placement, that I would finally get a seated assessment on an Omeo. I booked it for the April. They were only going around the country, certain places. They were coming to Cardiff. I was very excited. So last year in April, I went to a park just next to my placement in the Vale of Glamorgan. They were literally at the park. I think it was Coniston Park, but very near. Jill will probably tell you which park in a minute. And I had a seated assessment. I drove around on an Omeo and got very excited and put my order in there and then, that day. I was going to get one whether or not it was going to get funded. I was definitely going to work hard enough to get one. That was last April, and here we are in January, and I still don't have my Omeo. It's nearly a year. Now, some people that we work with get very frustrated after a few weeks when their Omeo isn't with them. And I like to say to them, well, guess what? I don't have mine yet. However, because my team are amazing, just before Christmas, they approached Adaptability and said, you know, she's been waiting a while. Is there anything you can do? And Matt from Adaptability then provided me a Lomeo. He brought me a Lomeo before Christmas. It's bright green. It's not purple. Mine's going to be purple and metallic and sparkly. And he brought me it because instead of flying them over, which is what they intended to do last April, they boated it over. So it came on a boat. And unfortunately, because of the wars that we have got in the world, the boat has been taken by pirates in the Red Sea. And my Omeo parts are in a pirate ship, or they're in a ship that's been taken by pirates in the Red Sea. So I don't have that. But my Lomeo arrived. So my Lomeo arrived, I had to learn, first of all, to plug it in. I mean, there's all sorts I should have learned. One of them was reading the instructions, watching the 7.5-minute video that Matt gave me. I didn't. I think that we all suffer from read the instructions. But the Omeo is here, so the Lomeo. So I have started using that. But when I look back at the picture of me last April doing the seated assessment, I couldn't have imagined the journey that I was about to take. Being myself, I think, and this authenticness that I really feel that I've fostered since my ill health. For those that don't know, I died in hospital. I died at home. I was intubated for 19 weeks just during COVID, double pneumonia, double pleurisy. And since then, I've had to remake myself. I was I woke up very swollen, incredibly swollen and heavy and full of water and full of inflammation. And I'd been on thousands of calories for all of those weeks to keep my organs alive. I was not in a great state. And I've had to work relentlessly towards doing something about that. The first was raising money for a hand cycle. The second was getting myself an omeo and starting accessibility partners. And when I went for the omeo, I said to Matt, who I was meeting for that trial, you guys need to partner with me. I didn't know Matt was the director at the time. I didn't know how important he was. I thought he was a bloke showing me the omeo. Turns out he was the director of the company. And he was a guy that had been on Dragon's Den with Christian. And I said to him, you need to work with me. And he said, why? And I've set up a meeting for us to present to Christian and Matt. Actually, it was just to Christian that night about what we could do for them as we went towards a collective commitment to helping people access their personal mobility devices in the UK. We have created a shared future that hasn't resulted yet in my omeo, but what it has resulted is our togetherness, in our shared journey, in our collective. And in this last 9 months now, Matt and I have been to Parliament. We've been to talk to Parliament. I've been with Equal Power, Equal Voice, which is part of Wales. We're talking to the Motability Foundation, and omeos are being granted by the Access to Work scheme. I think we've probably had about 40 granted so far, with maybe another 100 in the pipeline. The world is going to change, and it's going to change because I put a commitment out there to being vulnerable, to explaining that it's really hard to be me in the world, and that I've been hanging around over half a century and I've pretty much had enough now of waiting. You know, Florence Nightingale got very, very cross in the Crimean War about how bad it was that everybody kept dying because of people being not very clean, and she got quite militant about it. Emily Pankhurst got really quite cross about the fact that women didn't have a vote and that men were ignoring them. And she starved herself a number of times, 19, I think, to make her point. I am pretty much fed up now with waiting for us to be able to get me on a tube. We can get a man on the moon. Elon Musk wants to take us to Mars, but I can't actually get on a tube in London when I work there. And I'm pretty much done with waiting. So what the plan is now is not only will I hand cycle myself next summer and the summer after in the Naked London Bike Ride 2025, but this year we're going to collate our omeos and our lomeos and our onoeos. I honestly have told everybody that's bought an omeo that I want them to collaborate with me, and we're going to start dancing. And through the power of dance, we're going to demonstrate. And we're going to demonstrate outside of London tubes, and particularly King's Cross and St Pancras and all those big train stations. You know, whenever I played Monopoly, I always bought the train stations and the utilities. And it is my intention to take that Monopoly strategy and apply it to London. I expect that 150 omeos distributed around London at the same time. We only probably need half a dozen in front of each tube station that isn't accessible. Doing a dance will in fact stop the London Underground. And I'm happy to make this my intention, and for it to be out loud, and for me to be proud, because vulnerability is the way to our collective commitment to a shared future. And I think that there are questions that we might have for ourselves today. What prevents you from being vulnerable? What prevents you from showing up exactly as you are, whether or not you can start the room, whether or not the music's playing, whether or not you've remembered what you're going to say, or whether or not you stumble over your words? And what could you do today to show up authentically for yourself, and really showcase for you, not anybody else, what you can do with your day today? You know, when I woke up at 4 this morning, I didn't feel that I was fit for anything, actually. And when I lent into my team, when I reached out to my friends, and when I reflected on what I had to do to prepare myself for this day, I realized that every moment of this day, I have choices about how I show up. I've got choices about what I do. I've got choices about who I reach out to, and I'm very fortunate. And if you're not in that position, please reach out to me, reach out to anyone that's on this stage that is my team. I know that Marie hasn't been able to be made a moderator yet, but if that's possible, Ju, that would be fantastic. I can't actually click on her. If that's not possible, then maybe, Ju, you'll be able to help people come up on stage as they raise their hands. That would be incredible. So please do come up and let's talk about being vulnerable. Let's talk about how we dare to lead. I know there are some great leaders in this room, leaders in the making, and leaders that have already proved themselves, leadership skills personified. Ju, you are a mite. Well done.
I know that's all I can do.
Have you pressed on Marie's face?
I cannot see Marie's face.
Oh, that's all right then.
All I can see is a list of people that are in the room.
Yes, that's the same for me. Marie, are you the same?
I click on that and
it flashes off.
See nothing.
Mine flashes up and then flashes away again. Marie, what about you?
No, I'm fine. We've got Mary, Jane, Sam, Adam,
Yeah,
Bob,
I can see
Emma.
the list. Yeah.
I
just can't see the room itself. Can't bring anybody up, and I can't click on anyone's face. But that's okay. So, Ju, you've heard all about it. I'm not really sure what my question is today, apart from we're rocking up. We're here as ourselves, being you. Do you think that being you is about being vulnerable?
I'm definitely vulnerable. Definitely.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't feel that I can do much without the support and help of those around me.
I'll be honest, I wonder whether any of us can do much without the support of those around us.
Well, I know I can't.
And I wonder, and I realise it might sound like I'm setting you up here, and I'm not. I wonder whether what you've come to realise is what we all come to realise eventually. It's just that perhaps disability helps us understand that a bit quicker. Because I think we all need each other, whether or not we think we can do it on our own. The truth is we don't, even when we think we do. When you look back, it's those teachers that, helped you in school, or it's that lollipop lady. I had a lollipop lady who I think she probably felt a bit sorry for me, but aged before I was 11, so before I went in for my operation, before the UK government refused my mum the gas fire that I needed to be able to go home out of hospital, which, let's face it, is the reason that we're here now. The reason that I am fighting the UK government is that time in 1982 when they refused me access to a Baxi wall heater to come out of hospital. I've always been disabled, but that point made me realise that the government were in control of me. And I think you're in a care facility, aren't you, Ju?
I am.
Do you feel like I did when I was 11, that the government have control of your future?
Definitely.
See, I just think I got to learn that really early. So I was less than 11, and I realised that these people in Parliament had decided that my mum couldn't have this gas fire, and that meant I couldn't come home for Christmas, and they were preventing me. In fact, they prevented me from ever going back to my childhood home again. I went into hospital. I wasn't allowed out without the gas fire. They wouldn't provide the gas fire. The DWP refused. I think it was £70, but it was a lot of money at that point. They refused. My mum's neighbour, actually, Sandra, helped us apply, so everybody assumed that we'd get it, I'll be honest. And they said no whilst I was in hospital, and I never went back to my childhood home again because we had to move in with my mum's boyfriend, George, and then she sold the house, so I literally never went home to my house again. And I think that happened to you when you went into hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, when I went into hospital, I was kicked out of my family home and ended up in a care home.
Yeah, I was fortunate that my mum's boyfriend, George, who sadly is no longer with us, saw that we weren't going to get me out for Christmas and allowed us to move in there. It was the first time we'd had like that sort of carpet or a TV with a VHS video machine and a telephone. We had a telephone with an answering machine. It was like some sort of luxury. Couldn't believe it. And we never left. I don't think your story's quite got to that point yet, but we're nearly there. I know you've been there much longer than you hoped, but you're on the cusp of everything starting to move forward. It's just taken a long time, hasn't it?
It has.
And I wonder. Sorry,
Yeah.
go on. I know how long? 4, 3. I can't remember. 4 years, yeah. And when I look at the journey of us beginning here, I could never have imagined it would take so long. But equally, neither could I imagine that Inclusion would have over 500 members, and you and I were the founding members. And for those that don't know, on a Monday night, Inclusion runs on Clubhouse at 7 o'clock for half an hour, and then we go over to our Zoom channel. And in fact, Inclusion is now just about to move into its launch, its official launch this spring. As it will be applying for funds for itself, as we have proved the need and proved our presence in society, haven't we, Ju? Do you remember when we opened Inclusion?
I do indeed.
You said it'll be over 100 before you know it. It's over 500 now, Ju.
Soon to be 1,000.
Can't wait. And of course, you know, that it means that on a Monday night we get to be together and we get to do some fantabulous things. At the end of the month, we are also in down south near Devon, and there's an online webinar for those people that are involved in Inclusion and get access to accessibility partners. We'll be online showcasing people like Ju and just how far he's come. So I'm looking forward to hearing you on there, Ju, and for that footage to be made, and then you to start your stage speaking career. That's what we're going for, isn't it?
Well, stage mumbling.
Well, I hear you and I understand what you're saying, so I still think you're speaking. And when you can't speak anymore, that's okay, because we're sorting out other devices for that, aren't we?
We are.
And they're coming closer and closer. I just feel like the future's, we're here. We are. 2024 is where all of these things that we've been planning for over the last 2 years start coming to fruition. I really do feel that. And we've already done so much. You know, the hand cycles arrived. We did the marathon. We make that sound like it's a small event. And you know how much work all of the people on this stage had to put through to get that done. The marathon, we had a £500 donation in January from one of our clients who was so grateful for their Omeo, actually, I think that was it. And then maybe their strategy coping support, which we also provide. But they were very grateful that that all of their reward is through, and they've made a £500 donation. So I couldn't be more grateful. We are not very far off, and that the first entrepreneur will come to fruition at just the right time, you know, because everything is timely. That's what I believe, Ju. Even though it feels like a long time, your movement is timely, and you're moving at the right time in the right way. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Well,
I love your enthusiasm, and I understand it's waning, and I don't blame you. But you know, we got to Stratford upon Avon. We went to the theatre, didn't we? And we got in. However, let me say that it wasn't the event I wanted, because none of us could sit together, could we?
no.
We were scattered all over the theatre in ones or twos, usually twos if it's you and me. And then when I went to Centre Parks, you know, I hope you never get a life partner that you want to sleep with, okay? Because in Centre Parks, disabled people, just like in the Abyss, can only sleep in single beds. Yeah, you're all right with that, okay? You're never going to have a life partner you want to sleep with, are you?
Never.
Good, because if you do, you're not allowed, all right? Not yet. But this is why we need inclusion, okay? Because I want to be able to go on holiday and have a double bed if I want one. And at the moment, I can't, not in the Abyss or in Centre Parks. I'm not sure you should call it the Abyss. I think they call it Ibis, not Abyss. But yeah, so I can't in Centre Parks. So we're booking Centre Parks for inclusion in July, or July and August. I don't know which date. But I'm afraid that you can't take a lady or anybody else to sleep with, because you're going to be sleeping in twin beds. All right. Don't moan. I'm getting there. We're just not getting there quick enough. I'm very excited. Anyway, thank you. I think you're doing incredibly well, and your vulnerability helps me, do you know? Just saying that when you are you on stage and when you just rock up and you're yourself, it encourages me. So thank you. I just want to reset the room for everybody that's here. Thank you very much. It's a bit strange in Clubhouse this morning because actually I can't see you. Ju's experiencing the same thing. I can just see the list. So I just want to say good morning, Ju. And Marie, thank you for being here. Sorry, Ju's not been able to make you a moderator, but we can't click on you. And I don't know why you're not, because you're all on MJ's house as moderators. And Adam, hey, and I'm with you on Wednesday, of course. That's not very far away. And Jane, hello. And Bob, good to speak to you. And I will talk to you actually about that thing that we've been talking about, Bob. And James, good morning. Congratulations, James. You're welcome to come up and share your news. Sam, it's great to see you, and I'd love you to come to inclusion, just like you have done. Mary, oh, hey, I did email you. And David, we are on it. Well, I hope so, because otherwise I think my children are going to disown me. And good morning, Matt. You are in MJ's house. It's Monday morning. It is the Monday, the 8th of January. I'm yet to say the date today. Monday, the 8th of January, and it's 6:30, just after the 6:30 of the hour. We've been here since 6 o'clock. You are in MJ's house. On a Monday morning, we're here. We have quite a good following in MJ's house, and lots of people play this back catalogue on replay, and we are on replays. If you want to go and look at the back catalogue, many people do, and then email me and then come through as clients, both for inclusion and for accessibility partners. I'm the founder of both, and Accessibility Partners works to allow disabled people in and through workfulness, and if they are already working, helps them also to get their needs met in the workplace that perhaps they didn't know. And we help employers also to understand how they can meet the needs of disabled people, and we're working with the 4 nations governments to develop services for disabled people by disabled people that work in the long run. So that's what I do. That's who I am. And if you are on all other social media mediums other than Clubhouse, then you'll see the website there just in the bottom left-hand corner. If you have anyone that is wanting to go to work, that doesn't know that they can go to work, even if they're on welfare benefits, employment support allowance, universal credit, long-term sick and disabled, known by the government as severely sick and disabled, or even signed off as not fit for work, that doesn't exist anymore, that phrase, not fit for work. We don't have sick notes anymore, we have fit notes, and our doctors can write a fit note that will accommodate your needs. So Mandy-Jayne can work in the world as long as she has a personal mobility device that allows her to get from A to B. That's a fit note. I am fit to work under certain circumstances, and we work with the most severely disabled, marginalized and disenfranchised from work, and allow them to understand the way that not only can they keep and maintain their welfare benefits, but also they can earn up to another £167 a week on top of that with us for a good period of time, whilst we help them move into that place where, well, our income is mortgageable. Now, that might not be for everybody, but for disabled people, having your income to be mortgageable is pretty much an amazing thing. So we help disabled people turn their income into income that's mortgageable. And that doesn't mean that we replace all of their income. It means that we add some in and we help them formulate it in a way that other people can see their income and then respond to it in a way that helps them move forward in the world. It helps us move out of the welfare poverty trap, and it also helps with the 4 nations receiving what is appropriate, which is that thing called tax. So we're here to make taxpayers, but also to release disabled people from that state of, insufficiency, not being able to meet the grade, not being able to be allowed to access goods and services and provisions that everybody else does. So inclusion is about all of us. It's about including the 1 in 5 and making sure that we all have equitable access to a place at the table. So that's what we're doing here. And at 7 o'clock, we're going over to Mindset Monday with Pete Cohen, my coach, as he helps us move forward into the week with gusto. There are many ways in which I have helped inclusion for myself, and there's many ways in which I've helped workfulness for myself, including beginning accessibility partners. And I'm going to move on to Marie now and just say, good morning. Vulnerability, I think, is something that I would say heads our meetings together every day. But I'd love to know what you think today. Are you there?
I am, lovely. I was sitting in the background thinking about this. Yeah, do you know what? Like,
Alexa,
shame
stop.
and guilt are such futile emotions. They really don't lead anywhere other than backwards. That's the truth. But, you know, for me to get really vulnerable, I had to start to get to know myself and understand myself and learn about the way that I move in the world and what I avoid and stuff like that, for me to be able to even begin to show up authentically. Because you don't, when you've had a 28-year addiction, you avoid vulnerability at all costs. And I can see today that, you know, shame and guilt was a massive, massive part of that. And judgment, a fear of judgment, fear of what other people thought. You know, I became a massive people pleaser. I had to learn how to start to put new boundaries around myself. Like, authenticity is not for the faint-hearted. It just isn't, right? Because I'm a human being and I still care about all of that stuff, and I still hold, I'm still very cautious about what I share around my addiction and what it actually incorporated, what it looked like as a lifestyle choice, especially where that involved my children. Because, there's such a stigma around it, and there's still a lot of shame around it to this day. Like, we've all been privy to it, let's be real. You know, you only have to scroll through social media, see someone online and go, oh, look at them, how could you do that with your children? Blah, we all do it. Do you know what I mean? And when you live that, you hear that all the time, and it feeds into this narrative, because there's nothing more important, right, than the story we're telling ourselves about ourselves on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
That stuff's insidious. And so, you know, me and you, we do talk about this. We have to, because the job that we do is incredibly hard, and we work with some very vulnerable people. So we have to, you know, you have to be really careful not to get bogged down by it, and to be able to detach and understand that it's not about you. And really, that has been the hardest part for me, moving into recovery and starting to show up authentically in the world, is detaching from the fact that it's not all about me, because I can make it all about me in a nanosecond. You know, it's just something really silly can happen one day. We'll just use work as a narrative, right? Like, you know, I can measure myself against other people that haven't been doing this job as long as I have, and still tell myself this story that I'm not good enough, and that, you know, I'm not learning fast enough. But like this, honestly, the hardest part for me about authenticity has been about really learning who I am and changing the narrative, because it's not actually true, and none of it serves me, and I'm the only person keeping score. That's what I understood. Clubhouse was revolutionary for my recovery, because I saw all these bigwigs, all these multi-millionaires. You know, we saw it. It was rife in the first year. But I'm a weirdo, right? So I sat in the background of all of these rooms studying it all. And I actually realised no one's got their shit together. Not a single person has got their shit together. Nope. And it was an incredible relief for me, because I'd measured myself again, you know, my whole life, I'd measured myself against absolutely everybody, and came to the conclusion that I was shit. And it was so far from the truth. No one's got their stuff together. They haven't. We just do our best on a daily basis, but I don't believe that we can truly shake off the story we tell ourselves about ourselves on a daily basis unless we're willing. You know, and that's got to be the key word, willing, to become vulnerable and to be seen, heard, because you can't be valued and truly valued unless you start valuing yourself. It's like this juxtaposition. It's hard, this authenticity. I don't like it a lot of the time, MJ. You and I talk about this. It's hard work. It's hard to show up and go, I'm really, really struggling today. I feel really, really worthless. You know, like with my kids, I haven't got the answers. I don't know what to do to support you. Your mum hasn't got the answers. Like, I have to do that stuff so that they realise that I'm not fallible. Like, this stuff's not easy, showing up authentically. But I think it's the only way to start changing the narrative of the story we tell ourselves about ourselves on a daily basis.
Absolutely. 1000%. And it is because of our shared narrative, because you are willing to hear my vulnerability and vice versa. And yet we also know in those vulnerable moments that our strength is in the knowing beyond that vulnerability, right? When we rumble with it, when I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do here. What do you reckon? What do we do? Do we do this? Do we do that? What are we doing? What do you reckon? Who's doing what? Where are we going? You've heard those words again and again. I don't show up and go, oh, do you know what? I know exactly what to do in every given situation, because it's just not true. And then when we rumble with that, when we're able to sit and formulate a way forward that we can all do together, that we're leaning into each other, no matter how hard it is. And remember, this weekend, we've had some really difficult things happen for some really amazing clients. All of our clients are amazing, but you know what I mean? And we're one of those, right? Sometimes difficult things happen to us and we are our own amazing clients, but we held that between us, you know, the more of us that there are. I think that the less frightening that becomes. And today, when I looked before this 4 o'clock, when I got up at 4 o'clock, and I said to you this morning, I wasn't doing anything at 4 o'clock. I decided I couldn't do anything. And I looked towards the day, and then I realized that you'd done that, and Jenny had done that, and Christian had done that, and Fran had done that, and you know, all of that. And I'm not going to name everybody else. It's not fair. But you know, that those things had been done. That those things that I was worried about, actually, they're already solved, because we are leaning together as a team. We have got each other's back, but more than that, we've got each other's back authentically. So it's okay for me to say, hang on, I'm really anxious about these clients and I don't know why, but let's look at that. So I know it's a bit worky, but I'm watching your growth, hearing you again, as you said, in the background in these rooms, and us talking offline and growing this relationship. Remember, we'd never met in face to face. Was the most phenomenal experience, you know, that I've had. I met you on a different site for disabled people, but you and I met here, Marie, and I don't know where I would be right now, to be honest. It was meant, without a doubt. I believe we were meant to, for our paths to cross. And here's thank you. I don't know whether you want to come back to me before I go to James.
Well, I think, you know, I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and we've got the choice. Like it's just like black and white, up, down, left, right. In every adversity, right, there's a massive opportunity if you choose to see it. And we were meant to come together. Like, we just work well together. It's very, very simple. There's no rocket science behind it. We work well together because we're willing to move past any adversity that comes in our path, and I'm very grateful.
Well, you see, my relationship with you, just like it is with Ju, just like it is with James and everybody else in this room, right? And let me just say that about me. And if you don't think that, go ask my team, go ask my friends, go ask my family. The relationship that I have between one another is far more important than absolutely anything else you can imagine or make up. The jobs we have, the cars we drive, the houses we live in, the stories we tell ourselves, all just a fallacy when you compare it to the connection between one and another. So I celebrate you, and I celebrate everyone in this room, but also the ones on the stage. And that's not blowing smoke up your ass. That's me saying that because I know that you know about the collective consciousness, because I know that you and I are not leaning on ourselves, but leaning into the greater universal consciousness, because I know that that we are connected together. And that's something that I know that James and Ju knows, that there is no separation between us, that we are one, that in some way, in some small way, we all contribute to each other's experience of consciousness. That's why our relationship is more important than anything else. And I believe when we put the relationship first, when we put the truth of being with each other and not judging, as you went back to, as I'm going back to what you said at the beginning, not judging who and what and how we are, well, actually not judging what we've done, but understanding who and what and how we are from our presentation and the authentic presentation of how we are with each other, as opposed to judging what maybe happened in the past, because the past is in the past, right? And it's only to learn from. I cannot see any purpose to the past except to learn from it. Oh, and great memories. So that's what I take from what was, is all of the things I got to learn from it, and all of the great memories that I made. And the ones that weren't so good, they're also really important for me to remember next time I decide to go down that path or think about that. They're ways of giving us an aid memoir not to go down the same cul-de-sac again and again. So that's how I look on the past. The present is just what it is a gift. We are the present and we're having a gift. And the future is one that we have yet to tell, but it's one that we're telling together, and we are just better together, right? And that's, again, not me being trite. James, congratulations. I just want to say congratulations, James, for pushing through by being you and getting to this point where we're just waiting for your next award letter, aren't we?
We are indeed. And it's been an adventure. I nearly swore then. Quite an exciting adventure. A bit too much roller coaster like for my liking. But
it's going to carry on.
It's been an education. So very soon I'll have the correct equipment I need to move forward to where I want to be, because where I was in my past was very dark, and thankfully the those bits of pollution from my past that judged me, they'll have to live with what they did. And thankfully, I've moved away from that, and that's perfectly fine, because I'm moving on now to achieve much better things.
Yeah, and, just your job was really quite toxic, wasn't it?
It very much so.
And now you've left it.
Yeah, I symbolically at the end of the year cycled all the way to Blackpool on New Year's Eve. I usually cycle all the way home as well in the same day, but the last 25 miles of the journey were so rainy that I was totally soaked through, and I knew probably within an hour hypothermia would probably kick in. So I did book a hotel, but I left a very large plastic gift in a skip outside of Blackpool Tower by the Sea Life Centre of all places. And it was quite a large boat anchor that I symbolically removed from the back, because cycling 50 miles with 16 bits of plastic pollution that are about a metre long would generally look like a yellow bleach bottle. But these were overspill from one of the machines, which are found on a road half a mile away from the factory. So there's no ocean near this factory. So I kind of wondered how them bits of plastic arrived there. But I cleaned them up and put them in a skip. It's just the skip was 50 miles away from where I found them. And I felt really nice that day, because just before the rain started in Preston, I could see this rainbow ahead of me, and I'm like, that is the largest rainbow I've ever seen in my life. And then I thought, oh no, that means there's a lot of rain in that cloud. and I've got a 2 mile, I've got
what a fantastic analogy.
A large climb on the bike to do, and there's no railway because they're all shut for their holidays and engineering work.
It's gonna piss it down, and I'm about to drive into that. And beyond it, it's gonna be amazing. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to where this journey's going at the moment. I'm got everything ready to be filled in with all the dates and the plans for the year, and just moving forward with all the good things that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing adventure so far, because I met the three wonderful people on the stage. At various events that Inclusion has run, and the first time I turned up, I really didn't know what to expect. But I suppose cycling all the way from Merseyside to Birmingham, it's a little bit of a challenge. I mean, I did have to stop in Stoke, but that was planned. Unlike the fireworks in Blackpool on New Year's Eve, which were wonderful, and it was great. Just for
a little, sorry to interrupt, just for a little bit of clarity, because I don't usually get a few minutes with you. It's usually the last minute, and I'm like, bye, gotta go, bye. So it's nice just to be able to say, hey, you are now about to move into self-employment, and you've got through the Access to Work scheme, and indeed all of the things that, if you don't mind me sharing, all of the things that you are now receiving, you didn't really know anything about, did you, when you first met me?
No, I had absolutely no clue what was available. I thought homelessness was quite a good prospect for me, because I did not realise that there is support out there, and it's fairly well hidden from you.
It is,
which is disappointing. But that just challenges me when I feel like there is something to be discovered. Right, well, this is going to be an interesting journey. So you've got to challenge yourself to move forward. Good things do come. The harder you work, the good thing. And I see potential now for me to develop into a much better place than the factory of doom down the road.
You know, your potential to develop, when I see you and I hear you, particularly when you're on union business, and you're speaking on behalf of people. And I see that in your future, that you have a voice that's very clear when you articulate it on behalf of other people. And in fact, I think that's where you're going to shine. And for me, James, learning to teaching others what I knew, allowed me to learn, because I'm really good at giving advice. I'm not that good at taking my own advice, or I wasn't. I'm much better now at taking my own advice. But I had to give myself my own advice for many years before I would listen to it. So I see that in you, because I see that you've gone the journey of weight loss like me again and again, and that internalizing other people's opinion of you perhaps has been something that has been something that's been part of your narrative. I know that now you're just much more strongly able to say, I'm James, this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going, and not having to, be on that factory floor doing those things that you never really wanted to, and you never really felt comfortable with. I think now you can be more authentically you. I hope so, anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it is the toughest thing I think in life is that judgmentalness. But I'm very grateful to the official judgment that I received. It wasn't very generous, but it was very generous, because it meant that the dark days were only a short matter of time before they were over. Didn't realise I was going to end up from a company that supported me really well. And blessed me with a lot of beautiful furniture, to move into a good flat and to be well furnished with beautiful things around me, because I worked at a furniture place. For when COVID did what it did, that place closed, and it shut the business down. So I moved from that state into, I've got to find a job. Which I did within about 4 or 5 days. I was thinking, but it was to literally grab what you could, and I realised that what I did grab was quite a load of rubbish.
We got you here
from next, yeah. But it's got me to where I am now, and that's very thankful, because tenner pads were really expensive in them early days, and I don't think the rate of play was quite as close to a tenner as well. But hey ho, things are moving at a great pace for me now, one that's at the right pace, because at first it was very daunting where I was going to go. So I'm really grateful to all the team that have been nurturing me and helping me move forward to the next best place where I want to be.
James,
it's
I'm excited.
Times. Thank you.
I'm excited. I can't wait for us to do this. This session at the end of the month. I can't wait for Jan Santos to be on board, and I can't wait for us to share the good news as you move forward. Your story is yet to be told, and yet it's already gone so far. I'm so grateful. You were there and pivotal when I did the marathon. Without you that week before, I'm not sure the marathon could have happened. So thank you. I'm grateful to you too. It's a symbiosis. Now we are 3 minutes away. I want to say thank you to everyone in this last 2 minutes. I'm going to round up a bit like Jerry Springer used to, ridiculousness. But you've been in MJ's house. It's Monday morning, and it was 6 o'clock, and it always is. And we're back in the new year. It's 2024. It's Monday, the 8th of January, and we'll be here next Monday too, 6 a.m. 7 p.m., 13 hours after. I like to just showcase my resilience and tenacity as we move into inclusion at 7 p.m. And at 7:30, we go over to our Zoom call, where we get to deep dive with each other and in breakout rooms and do some really great work together, and also prepare for the end of the month, which is our first event of the year. And they appear to be out about every 8 weeks this year, which is fast and furious, as James said. And we're going over now, I would imagine, to LinkedIn to be with Pete Cohen on Mindset Monday. I hope you have had a fantabulous morning. We will be talking about pushing through by being you all week. And on Saturday, we will be with Belonging in Business on LinkedIn. That's already scheduled. Go and get yourself attended on there, and make sure that we have a great turnout for the first one of 2024. You wait until the end of this year. Belonging in Business is going to be so large that we have no idea what we will be producing by Christmas. I'm looking forward to seeing you all over with Pete. Have a great day. I am going to end both this room and this stream. To anyone that has tried to get up this morning, Clubhouse is just not playing We couldn't get Marie to be a moderator, and I can't see any of you. I keep trying to flash on and off. But thank you to all of you that came. It's great to hear you all, see you all, and be part of your lives and your story. I wish you all fantasticness. I'm going to see if I can actually leave this house, but I'm certainly going to end the stream. So goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.